Good afternoon, everyone. It's so nice to be here with you today. I needed you all so bad, I can't even begin to tell you how excited I am to be here and to be with all of you. And it's just nice to be together. So let me say hi to Amnon. Hey,
Hello, Marilyn. How are you?
I'm good. And you?
I'm fine. You look
Good.
great,
Well, thank you.
as usual.
Oh, my best buddy over there. It's really fun. We always have lots of guests, and right today we don't. It's me, you, Amnon, and love to just be intimate and just get really close and share good stuff. So I'm glad you're all here. Remember, you can call in anytime you want on 919-518-9773 anytime during the show. And also, you can come in on Skype voice. That's computers, plural, the number 2K voice. And then we have our chat, and you can come in there as well. Just put your name near, if you see the video on our page, put your name right there, and you will enter into the chat, and you can, communicate with us there. And, every once in a while, I just love to do a show, just you and me, and just kick back, chill out, and just talk about things. Whatever is on your mind, whatever is going on in your heart, this is a good place to do it. Just as it's kind of like a timeout. And yeah, I love having guests. And oh boy, do we have some great guests coming up. But today, you and me. So we're gonna talk about friendship. We're gonna talk about relationships. We're gonna talk about all kinds of good stuff. And I also want to tell you that I'm gonna be ending a few minutes early today because I've been invited on the show of another colleague, and it's a tweet chat. It's a podcast. She does all kinds of things, and so I'll put it up in a little while. It's called uh, let me tell you what it is. It's called Bizapalooza Chat. So we're going to do that today, and I invite you all to join me over there, and it's going to be some fun. So good. So Al, tell me what's going on with you.
Nothing is going on. Everything is the way we
Hunky,
said hunky dory.
hunkadory. And so tell me something. I'm going to put
Yes.
you on the spot.
Put me on the
I'm
spot.
going to because I
Where's this?
love putting I'm not on the spot.
Where is the spot?
Right here, right here, right now. Okay, so what is like? How are your relationships?
How are my
Yeah,
relationships?
how are your relationships? Has anybody ever asked you that question?
No, I
Okay,
mean,
good.
how are my
How are
relationships?
your relationships? Are they growing? Are they
Oh,
deep?
oh,
Are they stagnant? Are they the way you want them to
it's
be?
I would say the way that I want them to be because might as well be the way I want them to be. Otherwise, it's
They
hey,
wouldn't
what
be.
something is wrong. No, I mean everything is fine. It's
Okay.
you meet new people, you develop more relationship with more people. I mean, some people it goes deep, some people it doesn't go deep.
Right.
It's
Right.
just
So
average.
they're so would you do you like how you are in a relationship?
Absolutely, a hundred
Why?
percent.
Why?
Because I'm happy.
But how are you how are you as a relationship person? Are you good in creating relationships and being a relation like a
Y- y-
partner
yeah,
in a relationship?
yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay. Good.
I mean,
Good.
what's life without having relationship with
I have no
different type of
idea.
relationship with different type of
I,
people?
I yeah. I mean, I have no idea. I just think it's really
Why? How are
important.
your relationship?
My relationships well, they're
See,
constantly
it's
evolving.
right.
I'm constantly looking at them, and I'm on a many of you know, if you've watched me before, watched our shows before, I'm a practicing listener. I'm practicing listening as much as I can remember, and I my practice is remembering it more and more and more. That's my practice. And I want to do a big listening thing in February, like I don't even know what to call it, laboratory, I want to call it, because I think that's what listening is.
She did not say lavatory.
No, a laboratory.
Laboratory.
Listening is you constantly are growing with it, learning from it, learning with it. It takes you deeper. It's a tapping in. Okay, so I'm constantly like really, what am I hearing? What am I listening to for, and all that stuff. So I'm focusing a lot on it now with my relationships because I know that's where I get my practice and I go deeper and I learn more. And I've been really taking my relationships to a different level, I believe, because I'm embedding myself greater, bigger into my listening. And I've heard things come up lately, where something, I was in yoga last week and I had a question. And there have been times where, and I know I say, ask questions, and questions are important. And I've said that for a long time. But sometimes you're in a mood where you don't feel like your question is important enough. It's valuable enough. Maybe I should have already had the answer. So I've heard myself say that. And I said, I've got to ask this question. And I did. And I went up to the yoga teacher and I asked my question. And that in itself helped me create a deeper relationship with somebody that I kind of sort of know, but maybe not deeply know. So, it's constant, and my relationships are constantly evolving. And I think that's part of this adventure in our lives, is to take our relationships deeper, seeing what we can see, what we can find, how we can create them, how we can connect. And that's why I love doing a show like this. And I didn't know what I was going to do it on. I'm spontaneous, y'all. I really am. I just kind of like wait to hear what comes to me and what the universe wants me to talk about or share. And so what came to me, and it was in the middle of the night, was let's talk about deep relationships and how to make them even deeper, how to connect even bigger, wider. It's important. And so I wanted to delve into that some more. And it's interesting because I said to my husband today on the phone, we're getting ready to move, which is a big deal because we're moving out of a house that my husband's had for like 30 years. So there's a lot of stuff there to move. And I called him to ask him a question this morning. And I said, do you miss me? And he said, yeah. I said, well, that's good. I said, because we have spent 2 days together packing, and really and truly, we get along great, but there are times where things pop up, and especially where there's stress and tension over moving. It is not a day at the beach. It is not a vacation. And I said to him, so, it's good that we still can be sweet to each other on a Monday morning after we have been in the house and working since, Friday night and stuff. And I realized that a lot of that came because, and me in particular, I don't know what he did, but I'm sure he did something similar, is that we really went to caring about each other as opposed to arguing. And that made a big difference in how we proceeded during the weekend, because it was crazy. It was like, pressure, tension, tired. My body was hurting. My knees were hurting. This was hurting. That was hurting. I didn't want to do anymore. I was tired. I wanted to go to sleep. I wanted to watch TV. I wanted to have a drink. So I was really happy. And I really purposefully, I said, okay, what is my listening telling me now? What can my listening do for me now? And it really took me to, patience. It took me to, this man is working as hard as he can work. It was really very cool. So it really works. And it's amazing what happens when you do that with one relationship. It helps you do them with many relationships. It helps you do it with more and more relationships. So I just, again, want to invite everybody and anybody to call in and talk to me. Talk to me about your relationships. What do you notice? Whether it's your relationship with your partner, children, best friend, I don't care. Any relationship you have is important. I remember when I used to sell advertising, and I would go in to one of my clients, to sell them something. And in that day, they might have been having an issue with their refrigerator per se, and they couldn't buy anything. They were having a relationship with their refrigerator that day because their refrigerator broke or their air conditioner broke, and they couldn't buy advertising from me. We have relationships to our animals. We relate to different things. And so I think let's broaden our conversation. So 919-518-9773, or computers, that's plural, 2K Voice. And you can also come in our chat. So any way you want, we've got it. So come in, talk to us, share with us, with me, what's going on, in your relationships. And it could be a relationship you're having conflict with. That's why I look at all of this stuff as a laboratory, because I certainly don't have all the answers, but together we can kind of process and see, okay, a little of this and a little of that, and ooh, look what we get. So give me a holler. Okay, so you got a question on
No,
that? Okay, so would you put up our first slide?
you want a slide.
I want a slide.
There is a slide.
Okay, here we go. Part of growing up is realizing you learn to love so many people. It's about forming those relationships and finding what will last forever. And our action in these relationships, how we relate, what we do, is what supports our relationships lasting forever. So when we can teach our children, or anytime we can, anywhere along the way, that we can notice ourselves in our relationships, where we can take a little deeper step, a bigger step in forming them, in holding on to them, in taking care of them, is one valuable step. And we can love a lot of people, and we can love them all. Sometimes we don't have to like them. Sometimes we don't have to like what they do. But because we're listening, we will notice things about someone and realize the path they're on, the journey they're on, and why we may not like what they do, but we can still love them. So here's a question in our chat. This is from Chris. She says, I'm curious about your advice on how to say goodbye to someone who was once a very close friend, but now you're feeling that you're investing a lot more into the relationship than the other person. You're feeling like it's time to move on. That's a really good question. And I think sometimes, just like in a lot of things, you want to take a step, but you don't want it to be such a drastic step. It's like it doesn't have to be black and white. So you might want to say, let me say, like, see you later. It doesn't have to be goodbye forever. It could be, let me take a step back. Sometimes you've got to take a step back for people to even help people grow. Sometimes your presence is hindering somebody else. Sometimes we're enabling them. And by our taking a step back, we allow them the space they need to notice something about themselves, the relationship, something. So I say, if you've got to say, see you later, then I say, just say it to yourself, see you later. Sometimes you might need to tell somebody what your plan is. Sometimes you have to tell somebody, I need to kind of take a time out right now and do my thing. And if this relationship or any relationship is hurting you so much that you can't stay with it, and you've done anything you can, everything you can, and that's a gauge only you can say, but enough to where you feel it's eating you up or it's bothering you in some way, and you're not going to be good for somebody else, then it's time that you have to say, see you later. But, I always hold out that people can change. I always hold out that there is magic in the air. And I always believe that people can change, or situations can change. And if it's not them, then it's me. I got to change. And taking that time out can make a difference. So I think it's okay. I don't think I would like to suggest that people not feel guilty about taking that time out, and to know that you're doing the best you can for someone and for the other people in your life when you do. So I think it's okay. So thank you for that question. I love questions. So bring them on, okay? So remember, 919-518-9773 or computers 2K Voice. And please come in and share with me. Love to hear what you have to say. Okay, next slide. I also have intense relationships with furniture, probably because we practically had none when I was growing up. Possessions. That's Barbara Streisand. Possessions. Oh, let me tell you something. I am having a time with my possessions. I have these things in my life that I love dearly. I have a relationship with memories. And now that I'm moving and I have all these things in my house that belonged to my mother, to my grandmother, to my mother-in-law, to me as a child, I do not want to part with them. And I don't know, some people don't understand that, but I have old things of my mother's that I just don't want to give away because I remember when she wore them, or I'm hoping someday I'll wear them, and she was probably half the size I am. So I relate to old things really well. And my house doesn't have really new furniture in it. My house is full of furniture that's like 40 years old, 50 years old, and I love
Good
it.
stuff.
It's all good stuff. My bedroom furniture, I got to tell you, my bedroom furniture that I have had my entire life. My mother had it made when I was 11, and it's like these chests, they're armoires, and my bed used to fit like a twin between them, but it was made so that someday, they were wishful thinking, I would be married and sleeping in a king, and my king would go this way. And it's been my furniture forever. And you know what? We're renting a townhouse. That's where we're going to move from our house. And I had a really hard time finding a place to live because of my furniture. I mean, some people, it's something else. Well, for me, it's the memories and things that I have. Now, I love people too. Don't get me wrong. I love people. I mean, I'm moving so I can be closer to my grandchildren and my children and stuff, but I love my things. I have memories of, and I'll probably start to cry. So be careful, people. I'm going to start to cry. But as I'm packing and I come up with things and I'm holding on to them and I'm looking at them and I'm saying, oh my God, I remember this piece. I remember when this aunt bought it for me, or this uncle, and they're not here anymore. Or I remember when my dad was alive, and here were these things that I love so dearly that I remember he was with me, or just stuff. I mean, it's so crazy, but I love it and I can't help it.
So are you saying that you didn't get into throw that away? You don't need that. Why are we taking it with us?
No.
Not you telling Mark or Mark telling you.
Well, now I might have told Mark. No, I might have told Mark, honestly. But there were things like he's scared to say anything. I think he's waiting for me to tell him because I don't think he wants to go there. I think he'd rather me say, we don't need that, than him saying, we don't need that. Because I'll about bite his head off if he told me we don't need that. Because, I mean, he doesn't know what I need when it comes to these things, really. But I have gotten rid of a lot of things, like nothing really that is important to me. Like I've gotten rid of like old soap powders and things. But as far as my belongings, I mean, I'm sentimental. I can't help it. I'm a crazy person. So here's something from Angie. Are your relationships with the memories or with the items? And why do you feel like you need to part with them? Well, let me start with the last question. Why do you feel like you need to part with them? I don't. But I'm moving from a 2,500 square foot home into a 1,600 square foot apartment, townhouse, and I don't have enough places for things. So some things, are going to have to be in storage because I don't have enough room for it. And I don't know if I will. And as far as that's a very good question. Are they with the item or the memories? They're with the memories. And of course, though, I love these items. I mean, I love some of the pieces just aesthetically, what they look like. But I really love the memories. Like I have a piece of furniture, and I'm sorry, I'm tearing eyes. Um, that was my grandmother's, and I've had it with myself. I've had it for years, and it's this big wooden piece of furniture. It's beautifully carved, and I've always loved it. And when I was growing up, my grandmother kept like candy in there, and she kept like special little things, and it has posts on the bottom of it, so it's this big chest, and then it has these four posts, and then underneath is a wooden like shelf. Well, I can remember as a child, I was small enough and I could like climb on the bottom of and sit on the shelf, and I can remember doing that, and it brings back lovely memories. And why wouldn't I like, want to keep it? But it's beautiful. I wouldn't want to get rid of it. So even my chair in my bedroom now is my chair that I've had since I was 11. And it doesn't look like an 11-year-old's chair, but when I sit in it, I feel kind of cool. So that was a very good question. Bring me more. Okay. Again, 919-518-9773 or computers 2K voice. So let's see. Angie says, such a great question. Yes, you absolutely need to keep these things if they create that kind of emotion. It's not just stuff to you. No, it's really not. And I mean, I don't know, these things are fun too. So if anybody is, has things and you love them and they bring back beautiful memories and things, then I would say keep them and be crazy like me. All right, next. But the point is, I relate to them. That's the point. They connect to my heart and soul. And how else? Where do you feel relation? Where do you feel that you relate to something? Where do you feel it? You feel it in your chest. You feel it in your body. That's what's so cool. So when you're, involved in something and you can feel it and you have this connection, you want to like listen to it. You want to listen for these connections. You want to know about them. Okay. All right. So here we go with another slide, right, Amnon?
Right.
All right. My theory is that maybe if I keep my distance, you'll start to miss me. But so far, we're just growing further apart. So, Chris, based on your question before, I'm not there.
It's your show.
Oh, sorry, we're having a little techie thing, but that's okay. We'll figure it out. But you can hear me, right? So, all right. My theory is that maybe if I keep my distance, you'll start to miss me. But so far, we're just growing further apart. Absence does not make the heart grow fonder. And I don't think we need to play games in relationships. There's no gaming in relationships. You do it or you don't. It's not like let's play a game with this guy that I like or this girl that I like or this woman that I like or this man that I like. There's no games. You Why would you play a game with somebody's heart? Don't do it. And there's no reason to play a game. I mean, go for the gusto, my friends. Go into it and go where it may be complicated, go where it's a little dicey, but go anyway. And don't play games. Let's see. Can you get me back? Okay, can you give me the next slide? Okay. All right. Here we go. Bear with us. If you don't see me, you'll see a slide or at least you'll hear me. So Amnon is having a little tricky time over here. So we'll see what happens. Okay. Everything always takes time to grow. Your character, your learning, your friendships, your relationships, everything. Okay. So you got to have patience. You got to have patience. Just give yourself time, give somebody else time. But in the meantime, listen in. Listen to what's happening in that space of the time. Listen to what's going on in your growth. What are you learning? It's so worth it to take the time out, or take the time in, I should say, to listen in to the process, to what's coming up, to the discomfort, to what you think you knew, what you didn't know, where you are, where you aren't. Just listen in to your character. Like, what do you know about yourself? Like, I was really pleased and proud of myself this morning when I realized that my husband and I made it through Friday night, Saturday, and all day Sunday into this morning, and we were okay. Because I can't tell you we've always been okay doing stressful things, because we haven't. But I am vigilant, diligent about not going to some argument about something. And I have made it my business not to do that. And so I was really happy with myself that I could accomplish that. Now, that's not to say that we didn't have some party time, because we did. Because I also think that when you're involved in some really tough things, that making it into as much of a party as you can is important, because there's no reason to suffer. The biggest and best relationship you can have is with yourself. So why make yourself suffer? So we ate good food. We went out and had a little cider one afternoon at a beer at a place. We did a few little we went to yoga yesterday morning. We took the edge off, and I'll tell you what, it helped me go longer in the day, and it was important. So I got to see myself. I got to see what my character. I got to see my husband's character. It was very cool. I got to hear my learning, and boy, did I learn, because I saw that I could get, if I could get through, listen, y'all, if I can get through this time of packing and moving and all of that stuff, then I think for myself, anything can be possible. You got me back or not? Oh, you do? You see me? Aw, ain't that cool? Could you put me back to the last slide, though, so I can finish? Because I got to remember what it says. Okay. Oh, here we go. Okay. Friendships take time to develop. It's really cool to be somewhere and have a connection, a spark. And to be aware of the spark takes listening, obviously. Listening, you got to know that there's a spark, right? You got to be sensitive, which is a listening, to know there's a spark. So initially, when you have that spark, and they need to be developed. Sparks need to develop, right, into somewhat of a flame. So have fun developing relationships. Sometimes in intimacy, when you're dating somebody, there is this lust that occurs, sometimes in the beginning of a sexual, intimate encounter, there's lust. But allow it to grow into more than lust, and be patient with it going up and down, because that's what it does. And why do you think relationships go up and down? It's because everybody's learning. You can't be like in sync over everything, right? People have good days, have not so good days. They want to connect, they don't want to connect. Everything takes time. But when it's worth it, in the end, there's so much that we can accomplish and gain. Okay, here's a quote that Chris is using. Friendship is born at the moment when one person says to another, "What? You too? I thought I was the only one." C.S. Lewis. That is a great quote. I saw it this morning, actually, when I was looking for some, and I might have chosen it too. I can't remember. But yes, absolutely. It's interesting how it goes, right? That friendship is born at the moment when one person says to another, "What, you? I thought I was the only one." And that we can connect here. How great is that? Because honestly, most of what we go through, we ain't going through alone. I mean, it ain't that new. Let me tell you what. It ain't like new. We're all going through the same thing. You know, there's a great book by Elizabeth Stevenson, and the book is called Broken Open. It's a great book. I highly recommend it. If you've ever heard of the Omega Institute in Rhinebeck, New York, she is one of the founders of the um, the Omega Institute, and she wrote this great book. And in the book is a great quote that I have loved for years. And the quote is, "We are all bozos on the bus. We are all the same. We're all doing our same thing. We're tripping over ourselves. We're doing the best we can." I think that's why I have, well, first of all, I have hope for mankind. And also, and I think that's where patience comes from, because I know at some point I'm going to go through the red light at the end of the, the corner. So why honk somebody else? Because I'm going to make a mistake too. I just think that that's an important thing, that we have patience for each other, and we realize that we're all human and we're doing the best we can. And I think that also helps with our connection to each other and our willingness to connect with each other. Makes a big difference. Let's see. Chris is saying lots of people want to ride with you in the limo, but what you want is someone who will take the bus with you when the limo breaks down. Oprah Winfrey. Yes, of course. It's so easy, right? To have people want to be with you when things are going great. But what about when things might be a little bit off, right? So I think one of the points I want to make in building friendships, in building relationships, in relating to people is be open. Come from your heart. Just be loving, open, and come from your heart. That makes a big difference. And ask yourself questions like, what would I do in this situation? Or how bad is it? Just ask yourself, do they really look like they mean what they're saying? Because for the most part, when you boil it down to people's heart and souls, everybody really wants to do good, right? Okay, next one. Here we go. The most beautiful discovery true friends make is that they can grow separately without growing apart. That's an interesting quote, because I find that, I'm writing books, a series of books. The first book is In Just One Afternoon, Listening to the Hearts of Men. And here's a plug for myself. You can get it on Amazon. In Just One Afternoon, Listening to the Hearts of Men. Now, the next one I'm doing is In Just One Afternoon, Listening into the Hearts of Twins. And then after that, I'm doing Millennials and all kinds of books. But the one I'm really focusing on now is Twins. This quote speaks to twins, and let me tell you why. They're so thrown together so much of the time, like the besties of the besties, whether they look the same or they don't. Most of them have been called the twins there most of their lives, not Sarah and Susan, Jack and John, Beth and Eric. They're the twins, and they really do want to develop their personal IDs, their personal identification. They want to develop what they like, what they don't like, what they like to eat. They want to have their own friends. And yet, no matter how much they do that, there is still this powerful, powerful, powerful bond and connection. And it's so interesting because I'm editing the stories now. They've been transcribed because they were audio. And now I'm going through them, and I'm actually taking the bits and pieces of each story that is powerful. And I'm surprised myself. Honestly, it shocks me how good they are, because when I did them, I knew they were interesting. But now that I'm really reading them from this perspective, they're fabulous. And I'm doing one now, and it's such a good story. And I interviewed one brother. There was two brothers, identical twins. One brother, and they're in their 50s. One brother, straight, married, job, all that. The other brother got caught up in drugs and alcohol in his youth, like in his 20s and his teens, ended up having brain damage and is in an assisted living in like, but a lovely. And I interviewed the one brother that was great, and he was pissed off in some ways at his brother for having gone through all of that. And he was mad at him. He doesn't want to see him, but every once in a while, guess what? He pops in all the time to see him, right? And now I'm reading the story from the brother who had the brain damage, and it's complete love and respect. And he tells me that his brother comes and sees him. He always knows where he is. It's so fascinating that they can be angry with each other and yet love each other beyond. And so that quote was really cool for twins. So let me see. Let's see. Angie, she says she loves this quote. Since moving halfway across the country, it's been very obvious who my true friends are. When we do see each other, it's as if no time has passed at all, versus those that feel awkward and forced. Absolutely. So you can go and do your thing. And you know what? When you love somebody and you care about somebody, you want them to go do their thing. Go do your thing. Go learn, go grow and bring back the learning. Bring back what you've accomplished. Go do it. It's great. Why wouldn't they? That's perfect, Angie. Okay, so here's Chris' question. When I was a kid, it was so much easier to make friends. Today, people are so busy raising kids, taking care of aging parents, working, etc. Do you think that there are times and stages in one's life when friendships come more easily because other obligations aren't competing for a person's time and attention? Um, I don't know. Yeah, I was thinking about something today actually. My children are grown. I have a 36-year-old daughter, a 33-year-old daughter. I have, a 29-year-old daughter, two sons, and nobody's home. And I'm still busy with family. I'm still busy. Now I'm a grandmother. I mean, I'm like, can't wait to see my grandchildren. So I don't know the answer to that question. It depends on who you are and how much involved in your family's lives that you are. I'm very involved in my mother's life. Well, maybe I wasn't involved, when she was a little younger, but now that she's older, I'm really involved. So I think, when you are an involved person, you're always involved. And whether it's your family, friends, you stay involved. So I don't know if that's a good answer, but it's my answer. Let's see. Okay. Next quote. Is this the next one? Is this it? Okay. How did you manage to stay together for 65 years? We were born in a time when if something was broken, we would fix it, not throw it away. And I think that that's a really interesting, sounds easy, but that's exactly what our ancestors did. They stayed. Now, does that make it right? No. If something's wrong and you've tried everything you can to try to fix it, but you are miserable, it might just be time to go. But you got to ask yourself and listen for the answers. Have you given it all you can? Have you worked at the relationship as much as you possibly can before you say goodbye? And again, how do you feel? If it's making you crazy, then maybe it's time to go. If it's not making you crazy and you haven't given it all, then do yourself a favor and do more. I can honestly say that I don't know if I would not have wanted to have had a divorce, left my first husband. And he's a good guy. Had I stayed, I don't know if I could have become the person I am. I have no idea. I never will know. Do I feel sad about it? Yeah. Do I wish I could have stayed with him? Yeah. My children don't even remember what it was like having their parents together. However, would I be sitting here doing this? Would I be doing anything, writing my books, being the person? I don't know. But obviously I wasn't meant to because I didn't stay. So you have to ask yourself those very tough questions when it comes to that kind of relationship and friendship too. If the friendship, if your energy is getting sucked, then either you got to take a look at yourself and what am I giving away that I don't have to? Because maybe it's you, maybe it's not them, maybe it's you. And if it's them, what do you do about it? And if it's you, what do you do about it? You know, I mean, sometimes, you know, there is sometimes parents overprotect. It's not about who they're protecting. It's about how they feel. It's how they want to feel needed, wanted, and all that stuff. So if you're feeling exhausted, if the relationship is not working, be honest. Listen deep. Listen deep. Listen to the honesty. And what is it telling you? It's very important. Okay, one more. Put blinders on to those things that conspire to hold you back, especially the ones in your own head. Don't listen to don't listen to that. You can choose as a listener to listen to what you want to listen to. Okay? Next. We're almost out of time. My book! Go get it. It's great. Listen to these men, how they want to be in relationship, how they have become men in relationship, even though they've had a tough time. It's great. It really is. And it's not great because it's not about me. It was the men. So go get it. Next. Here's where I'll be. I'm going to read it for you, okay? If you can go to Twitter, go to Twitter and go to hashtag Biz, B-I-Z, Apalooza Chat. I'll be on there next at 2:00. I would love to have you all join me. I love having you be with me anywhere we can be. Let me know if you are there. And we'll see you soon. Love having you. We got some great guests coming up the beginning of the year, the end of the year. And we just love to bring you the best. So thank you all so much for being here with me today. And Angie and Chris on the chat. Mwah! Everybody love you. Bye.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by Telestream's Wirecast software, StreamingGear.com, Carolina Apparel, and DeltaForce.net.